Alright, 2022 is over, and you know what that means. It's time for me and every other white guy on this website to make a video about the top whatever movies of the year. Because nothing says I appreciate art like throwing together an arbitrary list of films that offer completely different experiences, and assigning those experiences superfluous numerical values, right? So, let's jump in. These are the top 20 movies of 2022. Number 20, Barbarian. This is a haunting, intense ride that uses the nature of perspective to expose the unseen darkness within human beings. It's a horror movie about the evil we ignore, taking the form of what was left to fester underneath an idealized vision of American society. It also gets bonus points for capturing my exact fetish. Number 19, Morbius. People made a lot of memes about this movie, which unfortunately tricked everyone into thinking it was funny. But it was just regular bad. So bad that only Jared Leto could somehow make it worse. Number 18, RRR. This is the first Indian language film I've ever seen, and it's also just one of the best films I've ever seen. It feels decades ahead of what Hollywood is putting out, and I need to see more. Number 17, Top Gun Maverick. I didn't even like this movie that much. I'm just putting it on here because I'm afraid people will yell at me if I don't. Number 16, Thor, Love and Thunder. This isn't even a joke. I unironically enjoyed this more than Top Gun, and you can't stop me. Number 15, After Ever Happy. I also enjoyed this more than Top Gun. We are 4 movies deep in this series, and it just keeps getting worse. And yes, I will be seeing After 5 on opening night.
Oh, go ahead! Fucking hit me, you big man, big piece of shit!
Number 14, Babylon. I understand why the average moviegoer would hate this, but I loved every second. This is exactly my type of crazy. Put Tobey Maguire in every movie. Number 13, Don't Worry, Darling. A movie that dares to ask the brave and vital question, wouldn't it be weird if Harry Styles trapped you in a computer? Shout out to Olivia Wilde for only making the 3rd or 4th worst Black Mirror episode, I guess. Number 12, Pearl. This movie is like Joker if it was good. Number 11, Glass Onion. This movie is like Knives Out if it was bad. Number 10, Tall Girl 2. This is a bold step forward for the franchise. A wonderful sequel that deepens the story and characters at every turn, proving once again that this is one of the most important stories of our generation. You could say it, reached new heights.
Every time she speaks, it's like I'm getting punched in the face.
Let's have another baby.
I'm very fertile.
Number 9, Turning Red. I thought this movie was great. I don't understand why everyone got so angry at it. Number 8, Weird, the Al Yankovic story. I can't believe this all really happened. Number 7, Blonde. I still have so many questions about the talking CGI fetus. Answer my emails about the fetus, Andrew. Number 6, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I don't want to be too controversial, but I think this is good. Number 5, Your Student Government. A very good friend of mine made this movie, and I think it's great. Also, you could watch it right now, for free, on YouTube. Do it. Hey, that's me! Number 4, The Menu. This film inspired me to start seasoning my food. Chef Julian Slowik is my hero, and I support every single one of his actions. Number 3, Avatar, The Way of Water. Avatar was always great. The sequel is even better. James Cameron is a crazy person, and I hope he makes 10 more of these. Number 2, Hot Take, The Depp Heard Trial. Yes, this is real. This is a to-be-original adaptation of the trial because it did not receive enough media exploitation, right? Fun fact, the actual trial ended in June, and this movie came out in September. I almost gave it number 1 for the sheer audacity.
It was BS when they published this 2 weeks ago, and it's BS now.
That BS just got me fired!
Far from what?
From pirates!
So before we finish the list, I want to pause the bit for a second and talk about some movies from last year that felt somewhat overlooked and I would recommend checking out. Fire of Love. This is a fantastic documentary about volcanology with some of the most astonishing imagery I've ever seen. Vesper. This is a solid indie sci-fi movie with some phenomenal production design. It's not life-changing, but it's worth seeing for genre fans. Funny Pages. This is a comedy that feels so unique in the modern landscape. It hits a very specific atmospheric niche that I just loved. Tar. I don't want to say anything about this movie. You should go in as blind as possible. Trust me, it's just perfect. Athena, or Athena, I don't know how to pronounce it. I've heard it in many accents, but you should watch it if you want to see some of the most stunning filmmaking of the year. It's incredible. It's like RRR, where it's hard to believe that humans pulled this off. I know this much to be true. This is a great, engaging documentary about Nick Cave, and it made me a fan of his music, so mission accomplished. I can almost forgive Andrew Dominic for also making Blonde. Brian and Charles. This is another great comedy with a splash of mockumentary that just feels like it was made for me. It's just so tuned to my tastes, it's crazy. Kimmy. This is a very sharp thriller that manages to be both very modern and not annoying. Steven Soderbergh is still killing it, occasionally. Duel. This is a great dark comedy. I love the tone of Riley Stearns' work, and I'm in love with Karen Gillan, but that's not relevant. 3,000 Years of Longing. This movie just felt good to watch. George Miller is a treasure, and I'm so glad he got to make this. And finally, number one, obviously, it's The Batman. I'm a huge, lifelong Batman fan, so I was a very easy mark for this. I think it's my favorite Batman movie ever, and yes, I know what recency bias is. It tells an engaging, emotionally rich story that explores the nature of corruption and what inspires people to fight against it. But really, it's about someone who's pushed himself to the edge of humanity, finding his way back to believing in people, believing in hope. Bruce Wayne, the person, not Batman the icon, is at the center of this mystery, and his evolution is fascinating. This is not the story of a man becoming a hero, it's the story of a hero becoming a man. And sure, I can acknowledge the part of my brain that will always just be 12 years old and love Batman unconditionally, but I really can't think of anything more I could ask for from a movie of this scale, in terms of narrative, energy, or craft. And it truly stands alone among every other comic book movie I saw last year because it just feels so complete. Actually, you know what? Now, Thor's number one. Who cares?